Hello and welcome to CTN's Happy Tales. I'm your host, Melissa Bondi. Animal adoptions have been on the rise over the last year as most shelters and rescues have been showcasing their empty crates, to which of course is a wonderful thing. Today I am talking with New Beginnings Animal Rescue, which is a cat-only rescue that devotes 100% of their time and energy to the cats in their care. Let's find out if they've had the same good fortune of more adoption requests than they have cats to adopt. I want to welcome Jennifer Fritz, who is the Vice President. Jennifer, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Of course, I was excited. It was one of those things where I'm, doing my research, trying to find these wonderful organizations to interview, and yours popped up. And I thought, you know what, let's reach out, let's find out. It sounds like a great, well-organized organization. So tell us a little bit about it. Tell us a little bit about you and how you got started.
Well, for basically my whole life, I've always been involved in animal care of some kind, whether it was my personal pets or just my jobs. And I and a bunch of other people, we were working at a city shelter. And this was like 11 years ago, which I know it's hard to remember like what we did like 6 months ago. But 11 years ago, we were actually in the middle of like another crisis. This is when the housing market went just completely upside down. And so people were just, they were living out of their cars. They were, going from house to house, sleeping at this friend's house and then this friend's house. And so people were really, really struggling. And for myself and the others who were working at the city shelter, we saw this firsthand. And because it was a city shelter, we were kind of constrained in what we could and couldn't do. And we kind of had this idea like, hey, if we start our own rescue, we would have a lot more freedom and we would be able to kind of work like hand in hand with the city shelters to, help the situation and help people keep pets in their homes or with them, because that's honestly what we want. Like, we really don't want to take in cats. We would rather the cat stay with its family. And so,
Right.
We tried with the rescue to sort of be that bridge between keeping your pet at home. Because I can't, like, I'm very fortunate. I wasn't really super affected, by that. But I couldn't imagine having to go through, losing your job, losing your home, and then having to like lose your little fur buddy who's been with you forever. And so when we got started, we actually started with a pet food pantry because nobody knew who we were. We had basically no money, we didn't really have anything. And so we kind of used the food pantry as a way to get into the community and help folks keep their pet, because we found that was sort of the number one thing is people were they were able to get food for themselves, but they couldn't feed their pets.
Mm,
And
yeah,
so,
of course.
giving them a bag of food and them being able to keep their dog or their cat was sort of low hanging fruit essentially. And so we were able to really help a lot of people and their pets stay together. And the pantry actually still runs today, like 11 years later, it's still rocking. The only difference is that now it's 100% completely self-sufficient. It is
Okay. Yeah.
donations, whether it's from individuals or stores who have like damaged thing or, bags of food, whatever the case. But yeah, it's completely self-sufficient and it still runs today.
I saw that on your website. There's a separate page for it, and I know it's
Mhm.
also there is a when you say self-sufficient, does that mean because there's an Amazon store kind of linked with it? Is that separate, same thing, or how is that
Yeah, it's
intertwined?
kind of all together. Like
Okay.
when we first got started, any money that we had, we would actually buy food for the pantry. So it was kind of some fun, sort of interesting shopping experiences where like, each there'd be like 3 or 4 of us out shopping and we'd each have a shopping cart. And it's like, okay, you get all the canned cat food, you get all the dry dog. Like we would just like
Okay.
fill carts, and these poor cashiers were just like looking at these carts seriously, and we're like, we have a rescue, we swear. So,
Oh,
but
that's
yeah,
fun.
we don't have to do that anymore. So everything is donated. It's completely supported, and the bins are full with donations that we then donate to people who need it, who are struggling to make ends meet. And yeah,
Okay, yeah,
hopefully
that was my next question was who can shop at your food pantry?
yeah, so we have a real simple application that people fill out. But yeah, if anybody is struggling,
Okay.
it's meant to be temporary,
Okay.
to kind of provide that supplemental food until people can get back on their feet again.
Okay. Do you also take other items for cats aside from food in there, or is it simply just food?
It's basically just food. So, and actually
Yeah.
the pantry, we do dog and cat food. We are
Oh,
a
okay.
cat rescue, but it's our one little way to help dogs, is by giving them food. I mean, sometimes we'll have treats. It's basically just food, but sometimes we might have, like treats or toys or bowls or
Okay.
something like that that kind of, sort of rolls in the mix. But it's basically stuff that we can't use for the rescue. So, kind of pay it forward to anybody else who might need or want to give their dog a new collar or a new leash or something if we happen to
Oh,
have that in the pantry at the time.
okay. So, well, so that brings me over to obviously you've talked about it was self-sufficient change and things change over the years. It's been 11 years, and obviously things, change. But COVID has probably changed your operations quite a bit. You want to talk about that and how some of your operations have changed?
Yeah, so with COVID, we kind of had to close the doors to walk-ins anyways. We're still open, we're still doing what we do. But normally, our adoption center, which is located in Royal Oak, we would have just tons of people coming in, whether they be volunteers or maybe
Mm.
somebody had like, a really crummy day after work and they're like, I need to cuddle some cats. So we
Oh,
have a lot of that going on, and we
sure.
haven't had that for a year. So now, like, it's very quiet in there. We've got a group of about 5 or 6 just amazing volunteers who come in every day and they make sure everybody's clean and fed and
Yeah.
cuddled with. But that's about it. We just don't have the amount of traffic, that we used to have. And then on the weekends, myself and my partner Lisa, who I run the rescue with, we do hold appointment-based adoption. So that was new for us because normally you would
Okay.
come in, if you see a
Right.
cat you like, you could fill an application and off you guys go. Where we're not able to do that with COVID restrictions. So we would have people, now we've been having people fill out an online form and then we set up an appointment that way. So it's almost like a reverse of what we did, but it's been working and we've done really, really well despite
Yeah.
everything,
Right. You hear that a lot of times, these
Mhm.
protocols and have changed for these businesses and organizations, and some of them are going to stick.
Yeah,
So I don't know that we can fully get away from that face to
yeah.
face, especially when it comes to animals and adopting. So if I was interested in adopting a cat, then the process is, I mean, I would look online at this point,
Yeah.
right? Before anything. Okay.
Yep, yeah, we have like our website and our Facebook page as well. We've got the pictures, the name, the info of all of our available cats, as well as the link to our online adoption application. And you fill that out, and we take a look at that, and we'll send you the link then to schedule your appointment to then come meet the cat. And it's not like a set in stone thing either. So if you're coming to meet Fluffy and you
Hmm.
come in to
Hmm.
meet Fluffy and Fluffy's like, I don't like you. I don't like you at
Hmm.
all. Because, cats are very picky.
Hmm.
But you really bond with Mittens, you can adopt Mittens. So it's not like you're not set with this one
Okay.
particular cat. We still let the cats kind of almost dictate the adoption because that happens so often, especially with our adult cats who are
Sure.
like, I want to adopt this cat. And the cat's like, no, you're not. No.
Right. Now,
Then the cat next to him is like, me, please. I'm perfect. This is it. This is
uh,
love. Let's go home.
so are you having the same situation that I've interviewed one or two other organizations where they were adopting and fostering, and they ran out of animals to adopt because obviously things were or people were home and had the time and wanted to, and this is the time to do it. Did you run into any of that?
Yeah, I mean, we didn't run out.
Right.
Um,
Okay.
but we did get really, really low on cats. Especially last year, we had so many people wanting to foster, and with our resources, we can kind of only take in so many cats, especially kittens at a time. If we didn't limit it, we'd have like 5,000 kittens in our operation at a time, which is way too much for us to handle.
Oh my
But
gosh.
we actually did run into periods where we had more fosters available than we did the ability to take in cats, which was really sort of a crazy experience. Things have changed. People have gone back to work, but we're still finding our adoptions are still really high, and we still have a lot of
Okay.
people who are still fostering and wanting to foster and willing to foster. So that was sort of a nice little, I don't know, silver lining, I guess, out of everything is, with
Right.
people staying home kind of like, hey, it's actually kind of lonely here. Maybe I'll get a buddy, whether permanently through adoption or, temporary through fostering.
Is your organization looking for fosters, parents to foster? And also, how far would someone go if they see Fluffy online and they want to adopt Fluffy? What's the location, the radius that someone may have to travel to meet these animals? Or are they all in Royal Oak?
Yeah, so when our cats are available for adoption, they come to our adoption center, which is in Royal Oak. So
Okay.
regardless of where they're being fostered,
Okay.
they do come back to us for the adoption. So that's where the adoptions take place, is in Royal Oak. And yeah, we can always use fosters. A lot of our fosters from last year, they've gone back to work and, kind of got back to sort of like normal life. And yeah, so we can always use fosters, especially later. We find that so right now we're in something called kitten season, which is where kittens are just like literally appearing out of nowhere. You go into your garage and you're like, oh, wow, look, there's a bunch of kittens there that wasn't there yesterday.
Right.
We have a lot of people who are fostering early, like nowish, but come like June, July, August, that's when we tend to sort of like either people fostered once and they're done, or like maybe this year we can actually go on vacation, so we're going to go on vacation. So generally later, like in the later summer, we definitely can use like a refresher, or just more fosters to kind of get us through that period.
What sets your organization apart from other cat rescues, which I know I've had on the show in the past? What sets you guys apart? I mean, I love your website. You've got a very comprehensive, very great website
Yeah, thank you.
So
I made
that was,
it, so
yeah.
thanks. Yeah, I mean, we're just, we really try really hard to educate. I think when we got started, 11 years ago, which is still crazy to me that we've been doing this for 11 years. Sometimes it feels like it's been like 30, and other times it feels like we just got started. But back then, there wasn't a lot of cat rescue. So just being a solely cat-focused rescue was something unique and something different. And, I think dogs kind of, everybody loves dogs. Dogs are great. Dogs are, and cats sort of have this different reputation. And so we really try to educate people on cat ownership and how cats are, well, cats are cats. They are definitely their own individuals, but they are just as friendly and as sweet as dogs, and they're great companions. And so we try to promote that and just, responsible ownership. I love that we have a facility where, as soon as COVID's done, people can come over. I mean, we've had volunteers who were like, starting to volunteer when they were, like in first or second grade. And now, it's like 10 years later and they're in school, or, we saw these kids and now they're driving, and we're just like, oh my gosh, what happened? And, they're going into, either like a medical field or like a veterinary field. And, it's like, it's because of their time with us that we've made this impact on them. So I just love that we're able to do that and to continue to educate people on just how cool cats are. I mean, they're definitely different than dogs, but they're equally as awesome and as fun to have.
For sure. I know. I had one growing up too. Now I have a dog, but when I was younger, I had a cat. So I've had both. Yeah. Both are wonderful, both companions for sure. Yeah. And you have one with you today that you were going to introduce to us.
Yep, she's in my hood. Oh, you're so sleepy.
Aww.
So all of our kittens are in foster homes before they come to us. We think it's really important for them to get used to being in a home and just, being like a companion, as opposed to like living out in a bush somewhere. So all of our kittens are fostered before they come to our care. And this is Bean. And Bean is actually a really special little girl. First of all, she's basically like a dog. She is probably the friendliest, most affectionate cat I have ever had the pleasure of knowing. But she also has a neurological condition. She was born with something called cerebellar hypoplasia. Okay. And usually the most common cause of this is that when her mom was pregnant, she came into contact and was infected with the virus that causes panleukopenia.
Mm.
And that virus affects the developing brains of the kittens. And it really, really likes to go after the cerebellum because it's an area of the brain, particularly late in pregnancy, that's like really rapidly developing. So the virus really is attracted to that for whatever reason.
Mm-hmm.
And the cerebellum is what controls whether you're a dog, a cat, a person, whatever you are. It controls your balance, it controls your motor skills, your coordination. So cats that have this condition, which we just call CH, their motor skills and balance and coordination are terrible.
Mm.
It's not developed properly. And so they just, sometimes people call these guys like wobbly kittens because
Mm.
they wobble and, you know, their heads are kind of always moving. And Bean probably has one of the most severe cases of this that I have ever seen.
Mm.
Um, she actually can't walk on her own. Her balance is just that
Oh.
terrible that she can't walk. So she likes to be carried around in hoodies or just, you know, she's like, she just loves to be carried and to be held.
Mm.
Um, but honestly, like I said, she is, I mean, she is such a great cat. And just so just she just loves to be with you, whatever you're doing, she's fine. You know, we take the dog for a walk and I'll put her in my hood here and we go off on a walk together, you know.
Oh, okay.
She's totally down with whatever it is you're doing. So yeah, you can kind of see her
Oh.
bobbling all around here.
So, but she's not up for adoption yet. You're still
Not
fostering.
right,
Yeah. But
not
one
quite
day,
yet.
will she be
Yes, she
available?
definitely
She will.
will be. So all of our kittens are available for adoption after they're spayed or neutered.
Okay.
We'll put them online. So she's getting close. She's probably going to be like the beginning of June or so. You know, kind of next couple weeks, she should be reaching her little weight goals, which our vets like them to be closer to about 3 pounds. And she'll be spayed and then she'll be up for adoption. So she's a lot of work. She's probably as close to
Sure.
like a human baby as
Yeah.
I've ever experienced. But I mean, she's just great. I mean, she's just playful.
Mm.
She's just so full of life, and just loves. I mean, she loves to take a bath. I mean, so
You
you
don't
know,
hear
very
that.
non-cat-like, but she's down. I mean, we just, yeah, just go put her in a little tub there, and I hold on to her, and she'll actually fall asleep in the bath.
Oh, yeah, you don't hear that very often.
No, it's very different, but yeah, she's a great little kitty.
Oh, well, good. Well, and sounds like she's with a wonderful
Yeah.
parent, a wonderful home.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's been fun fostering her. I mean, it's been a very different experience to kind of adapt and meet her needs. Um, you know, we're actually building her a little cart, a little walker cart to help her kind of walk around and get
oh
some
yeah.
mobility.
Yep.
But just, trying to figure out how to feed her and just all that kind of stuff. I mean, she can eat on her own, but it's very, very messy. So just sort
Oh
of,
yeah.
figuring
Yeah.
out how to meet her needs. It's different. Most kittens and we foster the kittens or mamas with their babies. And it's basically just like taking care of a cat. You give them their litter box, their food, their water, and they kind of figure out what to do. Sometimes with bottle babies, they need to be bottle fed every couple hours, which is a different
Right.
experience. She's probably closer to that kind of an experience, and that's kind of who she's going to be for the rest of her life. The condition, I guess, like unfortunately or fortunately, doesn't it doesn't get any better, but it doesn't get any worse. She's always
Okay.
going to be this bad. It's very, very layman. Um, she's got brain damage. Her brain is
Yeah.
damaged, not going to correct itself. But
Right.
what we find with these cats is as they get older, they get stronger. Her coordination and motor skills will improve a little bit just because she's getting older. But they kind of figure out how to drive these different bodies, so they get a little stronger and figure out how to make it work.
Sure. Sure. Absolutely. And it's going to take a special person to be able to care for this kitten
That's
for the rest of its life. And
mhm.
they're out there. There always is.
Yeah,
So
oh
yeah.
yeah. I mean, yeah,
Mhm.
like I mean, she's great. Whoever gets her is going to be very lucky because she's such a great cat. Like I could see her being like, taken to like places for like a therapy animal and stuff. Like she's
Oh
just
yeah, of course.
that kind of a cool cat.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, yeah. Well, let me ask you about community needs. What is it, did you say right now would be something that your organization would need or would like or would see more of to run better?
Yeah, I think, right now, because we are dealing with kittens, everything related to kittens, dry food, canned food, the kitten milk, litter, even things like paper towels and
Okay.
soap, like, stuff like that that people don't always think about, but like we are cleaning up after these guys, so it's a lot of scoop and poop and, wiping
Hmm.
up messes. So paper towels, bleach, soap, like that kind of stuff that people don't think about all the time.
Right.
That is something we definitely need right now. And we need it all through the year, but especially now, kittens are a big drain on our resources because they're very messy and they eat a lot. They're
Sure.
like, they're kids, they're growing. So they need a lot more than what our adult cats need.
Are these items that people can drop off, or do you have volunteers that will pick up, or how does that work if I were to donate something? And also, do they have to be new items? So if I've got something in my pantry and I haven't used it in X amount of time and I know you could use it, do you require it to be unopened?
No, we don't. We will take anything that's opened or used. The only thing we don't take used are litter boxes.
Okay.
Just for any sort of issues with
Sense,
that
yeah.
kind of stuff.
Mhm.
But yeah, we will take anything. I mean, we're pretty creative, so we, because we are fully dependent on donations, we're not super picky, and we can usually find something or some way to make something work. So we're not super picky. So donations can be dropped off to our adoption center anytime. You can just leave them at the back door, and we have the volunteers who are kind of coming in throughout the day to clean and check on the cats.
Oh,
They'll bring in any donations. If it's something
okay.
larger, you can definitely drop us a message through our email or our Facebook page, and we can kind of, coordinate with you when we know somebody will be there.
Okay. Yeah. And I noticed you guys are very active on social media,
Yeah.
meaning you've got almost all the channels, Instagram and
Mhm.
YouTube and Twitter,
Yeah.
and Facebook. So yeah, that's wonderful to hear too. So you also had that person managing all that. So I know that's another, I feel you.
Yep, yep.
Um,
That's, I mean,
it's a
it's a
job.
lot of hats. That's, yeah.
Right. Right. Okay, yeah. So yeah, what is your handle for all the social media so people can find you? I know I was big on your website.
Yeah, so it's pretty much going to be N-Bar Michigan. So
Okay.
NBAR Michigan. It's pretty much, if you search for that, we should pop up under pretty much everything. Also on our website, which is nbarmichigan.org, we have our contact page, and it's got like the links you can just click and go directly to the socials, or you can just email us as well.
Okay. Okay. Well, Jennifer, is there anything else you'd like to mention we might not have? I know we've got a lot of information out. This was wonderful. You're a great interviewee. So, anything else to mention before we wrap up?
I mean, I can't really think of anything. I feel like I
Okay.
covered mostly everything.
No, you did. You really did. Oh, no, I wanted to ask you about some annual events that may have gotten postponed last year that are anything else going to take place for this year?
Yeah, so we actually last year we did have our one major annual event, which is our birthday bash. We did it in a virtual fashion, like everybody else did. Um, Also, our kitten shower as well, which we had our kitten shower this year as well, which we did virtually as well.
Okay.
But coming up, we always do a garage sale. That's usually late in the summer. We don't really have a specific date. But you know how Michigan summers are when you get like that one day, like late in July, early August, when it's like 95 degrees and like
Right.
300% humidity and it's gonna storm. That's the day the garage sale always.
Of course.
So,
Okay.
yeah, and we'll have more information as we get closer, but that's usually somewhere late in the summer. And if anybody's been at home and they've been cleaning and collecting things, hold on to them, and we will actually accept any items other than clothing
Okay.
to be sold in our garage sale, and all the profits from that go right back to the cats. And then in November is when we have our birthday bash, and still not sure whether it's going to be an in-person or a virtual thing. We're really hoping it'll be an in-person
Ah,
event. So this
right.
seems like we're going that way, but we should have a decision fairly soon as to how that's going to be. But yeah, we'll be celebrating our 11th anniversary in November. So we have a big old birthday party with, ways to donate to us. It's a dinner,
Sure.
some, fun stuff like that at a place up the street from us.
Oh, that sounds like fun. That's awesome.
It's a lot of
And
fun.
more planning. I know how that
Yeah,
goes. So
lots of planning. Yeah. And it's just everything's so up in the air. It's like, oh, I don't know. Like,
right.
in February and March, we were like, no, it's going to be virtual again. And now it's like,
Does it have to be?
oh,
I know everyone's in that holding pattern of
yeah,
the
yeah.
how do I make the decision? What do we do? I know. Yep.
Right. Because, yeah, you got to make a decision kind of like nowish.
You
And
do for sure. Well, I
yeah,
hope it happens.
me
Either
too.
way, it sounds like it would be, virtual or in person. I'm
Mhm.
sure it will happen. It'll be
Yes.
super fun.
Yeah, it's always a good time. It's our biggest fundraiser. And it really helps us out for like the following year to kind of start off on a fresh note with a lot of resources to help any cats that come in the beginning part of the year.
Aw. Well, wonderful. Well, Jennifer, thank you so much again for this interview. It was wonderful. It was great learning about the organization, New Beginnings, and it was nice meeting your little foster there too. But thank you again for coming on the show.
Yes, thank you for having us. This was great.
You're welcome. And again, thank you for watching this episode of Happy Tales. For more programming from CTN, you can visit us at a2gov.org/CTN, or you can talk to us on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube at #CTN Ann Arbor. And again, thanks for watching.